Hey all, I'm Tyler Olson. Welcome to today's episode of A Good Problem to Have. We're going to be talking about guaranteed salaries. It sounds great. It provides stability for new attending physicians, helps you to have some time to get efficient in your practice, to build up your patient panel. I want to talk about the things to watch out for, both in terms of time commitments, expectations, and tax ramifications. So, in light of those three areas, let's get started. Guaranteed salaries are often offered to new attending physicians because you don't have any patients and the employer is trying to appeal to you, especially if they're trying to um, if they're trying to appeal to you in contrast to a private practice that could not offer a guaranteed salary, where you really got to start creating your own physician patient relationships, and as you do, then you start to earn income. The bigger institutions, they have the funds to be able to offer you a guaranteed salary out the gate. It tends to be 12 to 24 months long. Let's say that they offer you a $250,000 guaranteed salary. So after taxes, right out the gate, say August, September of the academic year, you're taking home $14,000, $15,000 a month. That really helps to start to put things into place, financially speaking. You're able to pay down debt. You're able to start building up savings, investing. It's all very good. And you don't have to have an immediate sense of pressure to have a boatload of patients that you can take care of, because that's just not realistic, right? It does take time. The guaranteed salary is with some catches, though. There is an expectation of number of months that you will work for that employer. Otherwise, there will be consequences where you may have to return some level of funds. Um, it's on a contract by contract basis, so I don't have any specifics to share with you on what those consequences would be. But before you sign a contract that includes a guaranteed salary, pay careful attention to the requirements. You have to be there 24 months, 36 months. I've seen even as long as 60 months. That's a long time to promise that you're going to work for your first employer out of training. And since a lot of docs end up not sticking with their first job for a variety of reasons, I would give pause. I would encourage you to pause on such a lengthy commitment of time. But 12, 24 months, even 36 months, I see those are more common. Um, 36 months is getting a little bit of a stretch, but it's workable, and you may just have to make that compromise. 24 and 12 months, those are very reasonable in my opinion. In exchange, they're sending you a paycheck every month, even without any patient activity, any production that results in revenue for your employer. So it's a compromise, and it's important to recognize that it's not always just the big bad admin. They're a person and they have a job to do too, and you have to be able to see them for the dynamics that they are trying to navigate, just like you're trying to navigate your own, right? But those time frame commitments, that's important to know. And then the next thing is expectations. Not so much their expectations, but your own income expectations. Let's say that the guaranteed salary is $250, or say it's higher, say it's $300,000. That sounds good, but you have to evaluate what sort of patient volume are you going to need to be able to elevate yourself to in order to continue to earn that revenue, to earn that salary once the guarantee is gone. Because once that time passes, in a lot of cases, the employer is going to look to your productivity to determine what your salary is. And if that level of patient volume is going to strain your time, if you're not up to that productivity, then after that 2-year period or 3-year period of a guaranteed income, all of a sudden your income's going to go down. What sort of decisions have you made in the interim in terms of home purchase, cars, general living expenses? During the first couple of years out of training, I've heard it's very stressful for a lot of doctors, because there's a whole new set of responsibilities. You have to even things as you know as detailed as learning a new EHR. There's a way you have to learn you have to learn a process. You have to get to know your colleagues, understand how to work in line with them, and learn to be productive, cultivate good rapport with your patients, and being able to do it within the time frame of a workday that is not so long that you can't go home and enjoy time doing things that are not work related. That is a lot of pressure. And so it's really common for new attending physicians to be like, I'm going to treat myself. I had a really hard day going out to eat expensive dinner every single day. That can start to cause a problem, especially if it's relying on a guaranteed salary that may not be that high after the guarantee is gone. So you need to talk with your colleagues about what sort of patient volume is involved in achieving that level of income. Sometimes you can achieve much higher levels of income depending on the specialty. But it's all going to come down to the contracts that your employer has with the insurance company. And, I'm talking about RVUs. And that is a quagmire of data. You really need to figure it out, but it's not easy. So you need to talk to several people and make sure that you understand what trajectory you're on to be able to make sure that what patient panel you're building and level of patient volume on a day in and day out basis is commensurate or hopefully higher than that guaranteed salary. Because otherwise you may start to be building out a life that you cannot afford. So be really careful about that. Now, the third area is tax implications. This is not so relevant if it's just a guaranteed salary where they take out the taxes and then you get your net income paycheck, right? That's a very common employer-employee relationship. And there might be it is important to accurately fill out Form W-4 when you first start. And so pay attention to that and fill it out accurately. This is one of the reasons why people hire tax planners, financial planners such as ourselves and others, because they find out later that they didn't withhold enough taxes, and it can cause problems where you have to make a big payment in April for taxes that were owed and you didn't know about it. But outside of that, there's an additional bigger looming problem in the realm of guaranteed salaries. That's if it was structured as a forgivable loan. You will know it if a guaranteed salary is being structured as a forgivable loan, because you will be signing a loan document. It is actually structured as a genuine loan. A variety of institutions do this. It has some incentives on their side that I won't get into right now. But the bottom line for you is that when it's a forgivable loan, forgiven debt, or a forgiven loan in this case, is taxable. Now, that's in contrast to things like public service loan forgiveness, which is unique in that it is a tax-free loan forgiveness. Most loan forgiveness is not tax-free. You have to pay taxes in the year in which the debt is forgiven. And this is challenging for physicians, because if you don't know that and you start getting that guaranteed salary in year one, but you're not paying income taxes on it in year one, when you're paying it? A lot of times it's in year 4. But you got the money in year 1, and what are you doing with it? Most people spend it. Most people save it, or some people save it, some people invest it. Those are all normal things. But if you didn't withhold taxes from it because you didn't realize that you had to, come year 4, can you imagine having to pay taxes on $250,000 that you got 3 years earlier? What ends up happening is, say you've got, if you did that and you didn't realize until year 2 that this was a forgivable loan and that you're going to have to pay taxes, that could be like a $65,000 bill that's going to be due 3 years later. But if you spent all $250 of it, where is it? Right? That money's got to come from somewhere. It's going to come from a future year's income, and it will blow you out of the water. I've known many physicians where this has happened to, and you need to be very careful. So make sure that you understand what you're signing. There's nothing wrong with it being a forgivable loan. It's just that if you're getting that paycheck and they're not withholding taxes, then even though the paycheck might be closer to like $20,000, let's say it's a $250,000, let's for round number sake, we'll say $240,000 guaranteed salary that's a forgivable loan, you might get a paycheck for $20,000 every month, but you should absolutely be setting aside around $600 to $6,500 per month into a high yield savings bucket labeled future forgivable loan taxes. That way, each month, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000. When that tax bill comes due, like the employer officially, I'm forgiving the debt. That's when the IRS gets notified. Oh, Dr. So-and-so had $240,000 in debt forgiven from this year. You'll say, here you go. Here's your $70,000. So that way you're withholding the taxes yourself and that it's coming from a specific place. So those are a few items to know about guaranteed salaries. A very, a decent tool to be used as you transition into attendinghood, but it's not without its challenges and nuance. So make sure that you understand what you're signing so that you can make good decisions and plan accordingly. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.